Welcome, brave souls, to a journey through the most haunted houses in the USA. We're about to dive headfirst into the terrifying tales of these infamous locations where the walls whisper with the echoes of a tragic past. Prepare yourself for spine-chilling tales that will keep you up at night. From coast to coast, we'll uncover the history and hauntings that have made these houses legendary in the world of the paranormal. So buckle up, grab your nightlight, and get ready to explore the dark and eerie side of American history. Our first stop takes us to San Jose, California, home to the sprawling enigma that is the Winchester Mystery House. This mansion is not just a house, it's a labyrinthine structure that has baffled and intrigued visitors for decades. Now picture this, a 160-room Victorian mansion under construction for 38 years straight, 24/7. Imagine the constant noise, the endless hammering, and the ceaseless activity that never allowed the house to rest. No blueprints, no rhyme or reason, just constant building. The construction was so erratic that it seemed to follow the whims of a mind in turmoil. The owner, Sarah Winchester, the widow of the Winchester rifle magnate. A woman who inherited a vast fortune but also a heavy burden. Legend has it, Sarah was plagued by guilt over the countless lives taken by her husband's invention. The Winchester rifle, a weapon that changed the course of history, also cast a long, dark shadow over her life. She believed she was haunted by vengeful spirits and consulted a psychic who advised her to build. The psychic's words became her guiding principle, a desperate attempt to find peace. The psychic claimed the constant construction would appease the spirits and keep Sarah safe, and so the building never stopped, a relentless effort to keep the ghosts at bay. So up went staircases that led to nowhere, doors that opened to brick walls, and windows overlooking other rooms. These architectural oddities were not just mistakes but deliberate attempts to confuse and trap the spirits. The house became a labyrinth, a physical manifestation of Sarah's tormented mind. Each twist and turn, each dead end, mirrored her inner turmoil and relentless quest for redemption. Even today, visitors and staff report strange occurrences. The house seems to have a life of its own, as if the spirits Sarah feared are still present. Footsteps echoing in the dead of night, doors slamming shut on their own, and the feeling of being watched. These eerie experiences add to the house's mystique and draw in those fascinated by the supernatural. Some say it's the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles trapped within the walls, seeking retribution. The house, with its endless corridors and hidden rooms, becomes a prison for these restless souls. Others believe it's Sarah herself, still wandering the halls of her bizarre creation. Her spirit, unable to find peace, continues to roam the house she built to escape her torment. One of the most chilling tales involves the so-called seance room, a room where Sarah supposedly attempted to contact the spirits. This room, shrouded in mystery, is said to be the epicenter of the house's supernatural activity. It's said that if you stand in the center of the room at midnight and ask a question aloud, you might just receive an answer from beyond the grave. This legend has made the seance room a focal point for ghost hunters and thrill-seekers alike. Now, I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm not saying I don't believe it either. The stories and experiences of those who have visited the house are compelling, to say the least. The Winchester Mystery House stands as a testament to the power of grief, guilt, and the unknown. It's a place where history and legend intertwine, creating an atmosphere thick with mystery and suspense. It's a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, leaving visitors to question their own sanity. The Winchester Mystery House remains an enduring enigma, a haunting reminder of one woman's quest for redemption and the lengths to which she went to find peace. Our next destination takes us to the sleepy town of Amityville, New York, a place that seems serene and picturesque at first glance. But beneath its calm exterior lies a story that has gripped the imagination of horror enthusiasts for decades. This town is home to 112 Ocean Avenue, a house forever etched in the annals of horror. Its unassuming facade hides a history so dark and disturbing that it has become a legend in its own right. You see, this unassuming Dutch colonial holds a dark secret, a story so terrifying it inspired a best-selling novel and a slew of horror films. The house itself, with its iconic eye-like windows, seems to watch over the neighborhood, a silent witness to the horrors within. It all began in 1974 when Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family inside the house. The gruesome nature of the crime shocked the nation and left an indelible mark on the community. DeFeo claimed he was possessed by demonic forces that compelled him to commit the heinous act. His defense added a layer of supernatural intrigue to an already horrifying event, making people question the very nature of evil. A year later, the Lutz family moved in, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. They were looking for a fresh start, but what they found was a nightmare that would haunt them forever. What followed was a terrifying 28 days that pushed the Lutz family to their breaking point. They experienced a series of inexplicable and terrifying events that defied logic and reason. They reported strange odors, unexplained cold spots, and a mysterious green slime oozing from the walls. These phenomena were just the beginning of their ordeal. George Lutz, the father, claimed to have woken up every night at 3:15 a.m., the approximate time of the DeFeo murders. This eerie coincidence added to the growing sense of dread that enveloped the family. Children's voices whispered from empty rooms, unseen forces slammed doors shut, and Kathy Lutz, the mother, felt an overwhelming sense of dread and was even physically touched by an unseen entity. The house seemed to be alive with malevolent energy. The Lutz family, desperate for answers, called in paranormal investigators, priests, and even a psychic. They hoped to find some explanation, some way to rid their home of the evil that plagued them. But the paranormal activity only intensified. Lights flickered, objects moved on their own, and the sense of fear grew stronger with each passing day. One of the most chilling accounts involved the family's youngest daughter, Missy, who befriended an imaginary playmate named Jody, a demonic entity that only she could see. Her descriptions of Jody were both detailed and terrifying, adding another layer of horror to their experience. Driven to the brink of madness, the Lutz family fled their home, leaving behind their belongings and a chilling tale that continues to haunt the town of Amityville. Their departure was so sudden and frantic that it left an eerie stillness in the house. To this day, the Amityville Horror House remains a subject of debate. It attracts tourists and paranormal enthusiasts, all eager to catch a glimpse of the infamous house. Some dismiss it as a hoax, a clever fabrication for fame and fortune. They argue that the Lutz family concocted the story to gain notoriety and financial gain. Others believe the Lutz family's account, pointing to the sheer terror in their voices and the consistency of their stories. They argue that no one could fabricate such detailed and consistent accounts of horror. Whether you believe in the paranormal or not, there's no denying the chilling effect the Amityville Horror House has had on popular culture. It has inspired countless books, movies, and documentaries, each adding to the legend. It's a stark reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are the ones we can't see. The story of the Amityville Horror House serves as a chilling testament to the power of fear and the unknown. Chapter 3. The Whaley House, where history haunts the living. Our final stop on this spine-chilling tour takes us to sunny San Diego, California, where a charming Greek revival home stands as a beacon for paranormal enthusiasts. This house, with its picturesque facade, hides a dark and eerie past that has fascinated and terrified visitors for generations. The Whaley House, a National Historic Landmark, is considered by many to be the most haunted house in America. Its reputation is not just based on hearsay but on countless documented experiences and sightings. But this isn't your typical haunted house story. The Whaley House is unique in that its history is deeply intertwined with its hauntings, creating a tapestry of eerie events that continue to baffle and intrigue. This is a tale woven into the very fabric of the building, a place where history and the paranormal collide. Every brick and beam seems to hold a story, a memory, or a ghostly presence. Built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley on land that was once a graveyard, the house has a foundation steeped in death and sorrow. The house witnessed its fair share of tragedy from the very beginning. The land itself seemed cursed, with its history of executions and burials. One of the earliest tragedies involved the hanging of Yankee Jim Robinson, accused of grand larceny. His execution was a grim spectacle, and his spirit is said to have never left the site. Yankee Jim met his demise on the very spot where the house would later be built. His restless spirit is one of the many that are said to haunt the Whaley House. Years later, the Whaley family moved in, bringing with them hopes and dreams of a prosperous future. However, it wasn't long before they began experiencing strange and unsettling occurrences. The house seemed to have a life of its own, filled with inexplicable phenomena. Footsteps echoed through the halls at night as if unseen visitors were roaming the corridors. Disembodied voices whispered from empty rooms, their words unintelligible but their presence undeniable. The apparition of a young girl was seen peering out from the windows, her ghostly figure a haunting reminder of the house's tragic past. Thomas Whaley himself claimed to have encountered the ghost of Yankee Jim Robinson, describing him as a tall, imposing figure with a menacing presence. This encounter left a lasting impression on Whaley and added to the house's eerie reputation. Describing him as a tall, imposing figure with a menacing presence, Whaley's account is one of the many that have been passed down through the years. But the hauntings didn't end there. The Whaley house continued to be a hotspot for paranormal activity, with each generation adding their own stories to the legend. The Whaley's daughter Violet tragically took her own life in the house, adding another layer of sorrow and despair to the already heavy atmosphere. Her spirit is said to linger, a sorrowful presence that adds to the house's haunted reputation. This tragic event added another layer of sorrow and despair to the already heavy atmosphere, making the house a magnet for paranormal activity. Over the years, countless visitors and staff members have reported similar encounters. The house has become a popular destination for ghost hunters and paranormal investigators, all eager to experience its eerie energy firsthand. People have claimed to feel unseen hands touching their shoulders, a sensation that sends chills down the spine. Objects moving on their own as if guided by invisible hands have been a common occurrence. And even full-bodied apparitions appearing before their very eyes, leaving no doubt that the Whaley house is a place where the past is very much alive. The Whaley house is a place where the veil between the living and the dead seems to be tissue-thin. It's a place where history and the supernatural coexist, creating an atmosphere that is both fascinating and terrifying. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, there's no denying the eerie energy that permeates the air within those historic walls. The house has a way of making even the most skeptical visitors question their beliefs. There's no denying the eerie energy that permeates the air within those historic walls. It's a feeling that stays with you long after you've left, a reminder of the house's haunted past. It's as if the spirits of those who lived and died within the Whaley house are forever bound to the property, their stories etched into the very foundation of the building. Each room, each corner holds a piece of their history, a fragment of their lives, their stories etched into the very foundation of the building. The Whaley house stands as a testament to the idea that some places are forever marked by the events that transpired within them, a place where history truly haunts the living. Thank you for joining us on this haunted journey through some of the most terrifying and eerie locations in the USA. We've explored the dark history and chilling tales of these infamous houses, but the question remains, do you believe in ghosts? If you dare, visit these houses yourself and see if you can handle the terror within. But be warned, you might just encounter more than you ever bargained for. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling stories. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.